One of the promises that you can stand on in faith and contend for in faith is that your descendants will be blessed because. Okay, you just finished chapter 38. Love this chapter because it speaks of legacy. Let's dive into it, all right? If we look at this, if we abide in holy fear, something significant is transmitted to our descendants. Not only will they be influencers, but you will continue to be blessed through them. If you look at Psalm 112, verses 1 and 2, how joyful are those who fear the Lord and delight in obeying his commands. Their children will be successful everywhere. An entire generation of godly people will be blessed. Now, that word generation means posterity. It means it continues on and on and on. I remember when God spoke to Abraham, he said, in blessing, I will bless you. In other words, Abraham, I'm going to continue to bless you through your descendants. And I look at that and I think about Archie Manning, who played in the NFL. He never, ever had a winning season in the 10 years. So you never would have heard of Archie Manning, but he had some descendants, and his descendants were called Peyton and Eli. They won 4 Super Bowls between them and 4 MVPs. And now when Archie Manning walks in the room, there's a tremendous amount of respect. This is what God is saying. Can you imagine when Abraham walks into the room in heaven? Well, King David's my descendant, King Solomon. I've also got Daniel. I've got Joseph over here. And oh yeah, Jesus is one of my descendants. Wow. He is continuing to be blessed through his descendants. This is what God is talking about. When you fear God, he says, I am going to bless your descendants. There was a sociologist named Richard Dugdale who in the late 1800s went into 13 prisons in upper state New York, and he discovered something in those 13 prisons. There were 7 men that were related to each other. They had different last names, some of them, but they were related to each other. Well, this caused him to think, and he started researching their family line, and he traced it back to a Dutch settler that he gave the fictitious name of Max Jukes to. Well, this guy, Max Jukes, was a pretty wild guy, no fear of God. And he found out that this guy, Max Jukes, had quite a few descendants, 540. Now, there might have been more, but these were the 540 that he discovered. He found out that 76 of those 540 descendants were convicted criminals. 7 of them were murderers, 18 brothel keepers, 120 prostitutes, over 200 government recipients, and there were over 200 drunkards. In short, there was generational sins that led to an abundance of dysfunctional behavior. But there was another man that lived in the early 1700s, same time as Max Jukes, and his name was Jonathan Edwards. He was a man that was married to Sarah Pierpont, and they looked at their home as a small church. They had 11 children. They laid hands on their children every day and spoke the blessings of God. They would share the word of God with those children. Well, they know that he has 1,394 descendants. Of those 1,394 descendants, 13 are college or university presidents. 65 are professors, 3 United States senators, 30 judges, 100 lawyers, 60 physicians, 75 Army and Navy officers, 100 ministers and missionaries, 60 authors of prominence, and 1 vice president of the United States. His generations were blessed. One of the promises that you can stand on in faith and contend for in faith is that your descendants will be blessed because of your holy fear.